Oh, we're so excited to have you all here, and we are so excited to have Rhonda Harris Chowdhury. I can't even get your name out, Rhonda.
I can barely say it myself, so it's
Our
okay.
beautiful goddess Smith here. And we are going to be doing some Beltane candle magic. You don't need anything. She's going to walk us through everything. And she was just telling me this is a presentation that was 2.5 hours that she's condensed. So I know we're in for an absolute treat this evening. And keep the questions and the conversation going in the chat. We'll make sure that Rhonda can get all those things answered as we go along. If you don't know, Rhonda also writes our spells in our monthly workbooks. So she's bringing that magic to us every single month. And we are so thrilled to have her leading this class today. Rhonda, take it away. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy Beltane. I have my flower background to honor the beautiful Beltane energies, where we are going to plant our wishes and see them grow into fruition with our magics. You should have already, with the past magazine that you got, the past article was a Beltane spell. So you should have that if you wanted to do something today. And today we're going to be just teaching you the basics of candle magic. Because I do my tarot spells in the book, I can't put the whole everything in there. So this is going to give you the befores and afters and things that you need to do. If you go into the chat room, you will see at the top, you'll see my links for empath bath salts. I've got classes on Gumroad, and I put a 10% code on there. If you want to take this full class, I also have a prosperity candle class on there with a 10% code. The code is just candle. The Magic Television Network, we started a streaming channel for us magical people. I've got my YouTube, my Facebook, my Instagram. Please like and follow. And the Amazon link if you're interested in purchasing my book, You Are Not Broken, which will help you if you're having a hard time manifesting. It will get you to the root of the problem and help you to fix it. So with all that said, let's go ahead and jump right into our class. And I've got my little notes here on the side. So if you see me looking to the side, I'm looking at my notes. All righty. So the first thing that we're going to do in the class is I'm going to teach you, because I know some of you may be coming from work and you may be tired or stressed or just trying to catch your breath. One of the things I also teach is energy work to help with anxiety and just to calm you down. So we're just going to do a quickie thing to help you to calm and clear yourself, which is something you want to do when you are doing candle work or any kind of work anyway. The last thing that you want to do is put anger or frustration or stress into your magic, into your candles. You don't want to come from a really bad emotional state where, let's just say I've got this beautiful blue 7-day candle, which let's just say I wanted to use it for peace, because blue to me is water and peaceful. So I don't want to grab my candle and say, I just had the most frustrating day and I really need peace. So could you please just bring peace into my life? What am I putting into the candle? Stress, anger, tears. And what's it going to do when I light it? It's going to project stress, anger, tears, and frustration. So whenever you do any kind of work, you do want to clear yourself and clear your space. So I just have some quickies we can do here, so it won't take up a lot of time. The first one is just to kind of bring us into center, and the other one is just to clear our spaces. So please just humor me. So the first thing we're going to do is just sort of calm ourselves down. So what I want you to do, and it might look a little strange, but please trust me, is I'd like you to take one hand, doesn't matter which one, and make an L with your hands. Very good. Now to put one finger on each temple. So you've got one finger on each temple. We are literally going to pull you together. So pull your fingers together to the center of your head. Now, keeping your fingers touching the body, we're going to come down the front of the body to the end of the groin. Just repeat after me. Keep your hands touching. Divine balance, balance, balance. Fingers touching the body, balance, balance. Right down the center, balance, balance. To the end of the groin, balance, 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 and balance. And just sit still for a minute. Does everybody feel a little calmer, a little more centered in yourselves? So that's a very quick way, especially if you suffer from anxiety or depression. It's a fast way to kind of pull yourself back into center. Because what it does is it takes your scattered energies and it just brings it back, basically back to you, brings your energy back. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to clear our spaces. So I'm holding my hands like this so you can see me, because if I do this, you can't. But you can put your hands to your side, but just open your palms. Repeat after me and do what I do. I send all adverse and harmful energies in myself and this space into the light to be healed and resolved as I am healed from them. Bring your hands now downward, and I now bring down the divine white light from the sacred source of all well-being and fill myself and my space with peace, protection, and power for my works. Thank you. There, so those are just quickie ways to clear yourself, clear your space, and now you'll be ready to do your magics. And so not only is it important to clear ourselves, if we have a bad day at work, when we come home, our space is filled with that vibrating energy. We vibrate energy, we project energy out. And so you want to also clear, that's why you need to clear your space as well, in case there's some bad vibes in there, you had a bad day at work or anything like that. Now you can also sage, a lot of people like to sage. You can do that as well, but that's just a really quick way. And then of course, we also want to clear our tools, but we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Okay, so actually we'll talk about it now because it's next in my notes. So what you want to do is, if you're working with, let's say you've got your candle, you've got your pen for your intention writing, you've got your parchment paper if you're writing petitions. Now you can get parchment paper in the foil and plastic wrap section of the grocery store. It's ultra cheap and you get like 50 feet of it. It's like you can just cut your squares out instead of buying expensive parchment paper like I see they sell on the internet. They'll sell expensive parchment paper for spells. Go to the grocery store and just get it for like $2.99 for 50 feet. You can do that. We witches are very economical, with things. We reuse things. Now, I also got these, which I thought was an excellent investment, which you can get these on Amazon. They're pre-cut parchment papers, and they're already in perfect squares. And you get 500 of them. I think it was $12, but $12 might seem like a lot, but it's also, there's 500 spells. for $12. That's a good deal. And they're already perfectly cut, beautifully cut. You have to, I'm a Pisces, so I don't really care if the edges are slanted or not even, but I know you Capricorns and his might be sitting there whittling away till it's perfect, and then there's like no paper left. Because you guys are like really, really good at having everything just so. I'm not, and I accept that about myself. Hence, I get these because they're nicely squared and it's not going to irritate me if I can't cut the square exactly right. But what you can do until you've got your candles and your oils and all of your various things, you can put them on the table. Now you can sit and smudge each one by itself. I'll be honest, I don't do that because I tend to usually be rushing. So I put everything on the table. And the same way you just cleared your space, sending all of the adverse energies, what I do is I scoop up from my table and I say from my table and all of the items and tools on it, I send all adverse and harmful energy into the light to be healed and resolved as we are healed from them, and now bring down the divine white light from the sacred source of all well-being and fill my tools and my table with purity, peace, and power from my works. This way you can clear everything at once. But if you do want to, do each one separately, you can do that. But it is also, so why do we clear our tools? The reason we clear our tools is, see this beautiful candle? I love this candle because it's so beautifully blue. I just love the blue in it. Probably why I haven't used it, because sometimes I'm like that. If something's really pretty, I want to use it. I know how that sounds, but it is what it is. The thing is, though, as beautiful and gorgeous as this candle is, when you go to the store and you pick a candle off of the shelf, you do not know how many people have touched this candle. We leave energy imprints in everything that we touch. We're energy beings, and we leave that energy into everything. And so you don't want the person who is unloading the boxes, who might have gotten into a fight with their girlfriend and is angry and is putting the candles down, or people coming up, and picking up the candle and they're in a bad mood and they're looking at it like, oh, I don't know, I don't want it. Put it back down again. That energy, the anger and stress of other people who have touched this candle, can be in your candle. When you are doing your intention work, you want the energy to be as pure as possible. You only want your energy and your intentions. If you're if you're doing planetary magic, or, calling on a specific god or goddess, you want that energy too. You do not want the grocery clerk's energy in your candle or in your other objects and tools. You want to clear that out so that you have nice, clean energy. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is, let me just scroll down on my notes, your hands. A lot of times, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the chakra system, but we also have chakras located throughout our body, including our fingers and our joints. So I'm going to teach you a trick to clear your hands before doing your magic work, to clear your joint. So what I want you to do, and again, humor me, please, hold up one hand, doesn't matter which one, any hand. With your other hand, I want you to tap. See, I'm tapping at the tip of my pinky. We are bringing out stuck energy. So I want you to tap it all the way down to your wrist. And then you're going to do all of your fingers from the tips all the way down to your wrists. And what you're doing is you're loosening up all that stuck energy in your joints that can impede your power. Don't forget your thumb to tap on that too. And now turn your hand to the other side, and we're going to start again at the tip of your pinky. I want you to tap it down to your wrist and get that stuck energy out. You're going to do all of your fingers from the tips to the wrist. Okay, now once you've done that, let me turn to the side. I want you to tap from your wrist up your arm to the bend of your elbow. So tap to the bend of your elbow and then turn your elbow over that hard knob on the back. Tap on that knob, come all the way, tap all the way up to your neck. And then from your neck all the way to the tips of your fingers, I want you to brush it off. So you're just going from the neck to the ends of your fingers. It's going into the light. We don't want it hanging around. Turn your hand over, do the other side. And just all the way from the neck to the tips of your fingers. Now, can you feel a difference between your hands? See how the other one's all heavy now? Because you cleared the gunk out of this one. We want a clear channel. So let's just quickly do the other hand, starting with the tip of your pinky. Come all the way down to your wrist. Loosen up that stuck energy that's in there. And then we're going to turn our hand over and do the other side, coming down to the wrist, giving it a nice good tap to break it up. Don't forget your thumb. Okay, now again, from your wrist to the bend of your elbow, turn it over to the back of the elbow, come all the way up to your neck, and once more, brush it off from your neck to the tips of your fingers. And with the intention, any bad energy is going into the light. You don't want to hang it around. Turn your arm over and do the other side. There you go. So now this way, when you are programming your candle, now the energy can flow into your candle unimpeded by stuck energy. All righty. So now let's talk about customizing your magic. Now for this, I'm going to share the screen. First, let me maximize that and then come back and share. And believe this is the right one. It is. So now it's very important for you to customize your magic based upon you. Now, the reason I created this part is because in the metaphysical world, there is a huge emphasis put on visualization. You know, visualize this and visualize that. Not everybody is visual. The reason they put such a huge emphasis on visualization is because of television and movies. Naturally, everything has to be visual, or how are you going to convey to the audience what is going on? But in the real world, not everyone can see things. Some people are empathic. They feel things. They may not be able to visualize. And that was one of the reasons also why I created this, is because as an empath, I had to practice being visual. When I first started, I couldn't see anything. I could feel everything, but I couldn't see hardly anything. And so I would sit through, like guided meditations where they're like, oh, visualize yourself on a beautiful beach with the sea and the sun, and look at the sun and the beach and the sand. And meanwhile, I just got a blank screen. I don't see anything. That was very frustrating for me. But I said, you know what? I can't see the sand on the beach, but as an empath, I can feel the sand beneath my feet. I can smell the salt water and I can feel the sun on my skin. So I had to do my meditations differently. And so I created this little test so that you guys can find out what your dominant sense is. So there's only 3 questions here that will help you to know. And the answers, you can have more You can have more than one answer to these. So ask yourself, if you are in a questioning situation, are you more likely to say, it doesn't smell right to me? It doesn't sound right to me? It doesn't feel right to me? It doesn't look right to me, or it doesn't taste right to me. So figure out which one of these senses would it be: smell, sound, feel, look, or taste. Doesn't smell right, sound right, feel right, look right, or taste right. Your next question, or there's also one you can, if I don't think that's right, because that means you're claircognizant. I see I didn't put that on here. So again, I don't think that's right is another option. If you're questioning what another person is saying to you, are you more likely to say, I don't see your point? I'm just not hearing what you're trying to say. I feel differently than you do. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. The idea stinks. Or you can even, or if you're one of the thinking people, I don't think you know what you're talking about. So again, make a note. Is it about seeing, hearing, feeling, bad taste, your nose, smelling, or thinking? And then thirdly is if you're angry, are you more likely to say, I saw red, there was a roaring in my ears, I was hot, cold, or numb, I wanted to hit him so bad I could taste it, that person's attitude reeks, or I thought my head was going to explode? So once more, was it seeing? Was it hearing? Was it feeling? Was it tasting? Was it smelling? Now, if your dominant sense, now you can have more than one, but see which one was the main one, the majority one. If it was smell, then you are clairscient. If your dominant sense is hearing, you are clairaudient. If your dominant sense is feeling, you are clairsentient. If your dominant sense is sight, you are clairvoyant. If your dominant sense is taste, it's clairgustance. And if your dominant sense is in your thoughts, it's claircognizance. And so this is going to help you to, if you're using your own dominant sense. So for example, let's just say I want to use a candle to bring money in my life. If I'm a visual person, I can hold the candle and literally just see money, $100 bills falling all around me, you know? But if I can't see that, I will ask myself, let's say you're a feeling person, you can ask yourself, how would it feel if you won $1 million in the lottery? Put the feeling of having wealth in there. If you're a listening person, if you're clairaudient, hear bills shuffling, like as if you had a stack of bills and you were doing it like cards. Hear that. If you're clairgustance, if you're a tasting person, coins have a very metallic taste to it. So like kind of taste the coppery taste of coins in your mouth while you're doing that for yourself. And even money has a certain smell to it. So if you're one of the smellers, you can smell the money, and that will help you to use your own, instead of struggling trying to use a sense that you don't have or that is weak. Then you can use your own dominant sense, because everything needs to be custom to you and what you're doing. That's what makes your spells even stronger. So how does using candles help us with our intentions? Well, for one thing, fire conveys energy. It's an aggressive energy, and it takes your energy into the flame, and while the candle is burning, it's projecting that energy out. Also, we're using the element of air. Air feeds fire. Fire has to have air to work, and air can flow and bring things to you or remove things to you, however you want to use it. So you get to use all of that. Now, technically, you can even say that fire also using candles can also be using water or liquid because the wax becomes liquid. Now it's hard, but then it becomes a liquid. And of course, the surface that you're putting it on is the earth. So it actually encompasses all of the elements when you think about it. The other thing is that we're putting into it are the colors. Now, colors are also something that needs to be custom to you. Colors have frequencies to them, but when you look up a spell, like on the internet, look up a spell, and let's just say it said to use a green candle, but that just didn't feel right to you. You in your mind, it was like, I just feel like it should be a red candle, not a green candle. Use the red candle because that's what you are connecting to. In your mind, the color red represents what it is that you want. So you might want to make a little chart for yourself with the different colors, red, blue, pink, green, yellow, and decide what do those colors mean to you so that you can choose the candle color that you are going to be in harmony with, that you actually believe in. Because if there's some sort of conflict, whenever you see a spell on the internet or in a spell book, it's based on that person who's writing the book, their opinion and their custom needs and beliefs. You have to turn it to your own. So determine for yourself, what do colors mean to you? Which color means what to you? To me, blue means peace. To you, it might mean protection. It might mean power. So go with the color candle that you feel represents what you want, because everything needs to be custom to you. Now, I have a little thing here about dark magic and dark candles. So, there's a very large negative connotation on the word black and dark. Black magic or dark magic, or that person's got dark energy. Now, I'm going to teach you guys something that no one else is probably going to tell you this, but I will. The negative connotation to black is actually false propaganda because people don't want you to use it. First of all, magic has no color. There's no color to magic. It is what it is. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to do black magic, because black means different things to different people. It's either good or bad. I don't put colors into it. Either you're doing something good or you're not. So it's either good magic or bad magic. Color does not come into it. Now, when we talk about black magic or dark magic, people will say that, oh my God, it's black magic or dark magic. But whenever a person needs protection, what's the first thing they do? They put on black obsidian, or they put on black tourmaline, or they put on black onyx. First thing they do is put on something black. The same people are like, be careful with black magic, will immediately run and put on something black, because black is a very powerful color. But more importantly, instead of being a source of evil, black is actually the color of creation. Even if you go back to the Bible, where it says at first it was dark and then there was light, light came from the darkness. If you think of a baby, a child is conceived in the dark of the womb, where it is nurtured and nourished before it is birthed into the light. If you plant a garden, the seeds we plant go into the dark of the earth, where it is nurtured and nourished until a plant springs forth from the earth. So black actually is the color of creation. It is a huge powerful energy. And there are those that would tell you it's bad so that they get to sip from that nectar and you don't, you're going to be too scared of it. So remember, there's no such thing as black magic. There's either good or bad, and black is an extremely powerful color. You can use it to create whatever you want. It's very absorbent. It can absorb bad energy if that's what you need it to do, or it can also protect. It's extremely powerful. So don't not use it because it is something that's very, very powerful. Okay, so let's talk about different types of candles because there's many different kinds of candles. I think they're probably all fairly protective. I've been flashing my blue candle. So this is a 7-day jar candle. A lot of people like jar candles because the 7-day ones because they keep the spell going for the whole 7 days, which is cool. But, not everybody, because I talk to a lot of people and they have cats and they're scared. What if my cat knocks it over while I'm sleeping or I'm not home? Now, I also have cats. So what I'll do is I usually, if I have to go out and if I'm burning a 7-day candle, I will put them in the bathroom and then I close the door so my cats can't get to them. You can stick them in the sink or the bathtub. They fall over. It's not going to burn anything. But more importantly, I shut the door so my cat can't get to it. But if that's not an option or you're just not comfortable, like even going to sleep, you can use smaller candles. We also have, we've got figurine candles, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. There's also pillar candles that you can use. I burn these in mason jars because this way the wax doesn't spread all over the plate and get wasted. If you burn it in a jar, most of the wax will be consumed instead of wasting that. Some of my favorites are birthday candles. Birthday candles pack a punch. Even though they're little and only burn for a few minutes, got gold and silver here. You can use to bring some money in. They come in pretty much every color you can think of, the birthday candles. You can get, and they just burn fast in a few minutes, and you can be on your way with using those. That's perfectly fine. Also, I use a lot of tea light candles. Why do I love tea light candles so much? I love them. They burn for about 3 or 4 hours, depending on where you get them from. You get them from the Dollar Tree, they burn about 2 hours. You get them from Walmart, about 3.5 hours. But what I love about tea light candles is this aluminum around it. Aluminum represents image magic, and I can carve what I want into the aluminum. I can put my spells in the aluminum. I can also put it on the back of the aluminum, and I can carve it on the top, what I want to say. So you can pack a lot. The prosperity candle magic, tea light prosperity candle magic that I have on Gumroad, I use these all the time. They got me through, keeping in mind I am a self-employed full-time psychic healer. These got me through the pandemic and the recession that's going on. These keep the money flowing in. I love my little tea light candles. And then, of course, we've got reversible candles where if you're trying to reverse a situation in your life, when I use these, depending on what it is that I'm doing, if I use, let's just say, because red to me represents vitality. So let's just say I'm not feeling well, if I'm just feeling not good, I would program the black part to absorb and remove my illness and the red part to bring back my vitality. Now, if you're getting this kind, the way it works is you whittle off, it's literally you have to reverse it. So you're going to take a knife and just cut this part off to make it the bottom. And then this part, they usually leave the wick out a little bit, but this one kind of got in there. You just kind of whittle at it and this becomes the top. So you've reversed the candle. And you're going to inscribe on the black part to absorb and remove, and the red, what it is you're trying to replace it with. But there's all kinds of fabulous candles. I've used candles from Walmart. The only problem I have with Walmart jar candles is their wicks. They use a wick that's too big and you have to keep trimming it down. Otherwise, it soots up your house. But I'll use any candle that's available. So you can choose whichever ones. If you've only got a few minutes, you can use a little birthday candle. If you've got a couple of hours, you can do the tea lights. If you don't mind burning for 7 days, we've got 7-day candles. There's also pre-printed candles that you can get for specific things, luck, healing. I pulled this one out of my closet. I didn't even know I had a shut up candle. I don't even know why I bought this. But I guess if it's someone's just like talking crap about you, we can use it for that. I honestly don't remember why I bought this candle, but someone must have been getting on my nerves at the time. So that's what that is. And then also I'm going to share my screen with you about using figurine candles. And again, as witches, we waste nothing. So see this figurine candle, see how it's broken? I broke it. See where it's like broken over here in the center? So my first thought is like, crap, I broke this candle. Now what am I going to do? And then I said, well, you know what? If it's broken, I can use this to heal what's broken inside of me. Or what do I need to break? Is there a bad habit that I have that I need to break? I can use this broken candle for that, to break that bad habit or to break a curse or to break whatever it is. We waste nothing. So if you break your candle, you can use it to either heal something. If you've got a broken heart, you can use it to heal something that is broken. Or if you need to break something, break a block, like you're trying to move forward, you can't, use it to break a block in your life. Don't, just because you break it doesn't mean it's no longer usable. Now, I'm going to show you very briefly because time is going so quickly. Let me just pull this up. Okay, so let me share my screen because I want to talk to you about figurine candles just really quick. Okay, so let me just give you, just to preface me showing you that I've always felt that should, I'm royalty. Like, I shouldn't have to clean or cook or do it. It should all be done for me. And I know how that sounds, but I've always felt like that I was supposed to be royalty, that I lived in a castle. I felt like I lived in a castle. And so I decided to use a figurine candle to remove whatever was holding me back from getting the amount of wealth that I want. And I said, from this life chart changes, anything that's holding me back from this lifetime or going back into other lifetimes. You should also know that when I was born with my feet turned inward. And so I had to wear braces as a kid to make my legs, but I still have challenges with my legs. So I took a black figurine candle like this one, but it's black, and I wrote on there to absorb and remove whatever it is that is holding me back from being as successful as I want to be and from this lifetime and other lifetimes. I was floored. Here is my candle. I want to show it to you. Let me hit the share screen again. Excuse me for sniffing allergies. This is my candle, the black candle. Do you see this leg here and the foot? You can even see the toes and the feet. This is my leg. And if you look, this looks like a burnt out castle here. And if you look down here, like you see this face here, you'll see like faces. So it's like crap. If you look at it here, you can see this is probably me. You can see this is a woman. You see she's got boobs and a belly just like mine, actually. Though my boobs aren't that perky, but still, I digress. I shouldn't have said that. I don't even know why I just said that. Forget I said that. It's recorded too. That's okay. You can see this looks like a woman leaving. This looks like maybe a little kid over here, someone else leaving in a burnt out castle. I actually believe that in another lifetime, I did live in a castle. And, back in the olden days, other kingdoms would come and take over. your castle. They'd come and raid the castle and burn it down. And I believe that happened to me, and my soul was still trying to heal from those soul wounds of losing everything. And I believe I even brought that into this lifetime, because at one point I did lose everything with the last, not this was the last recession we had back in 2008. So when I saw that candle, it was like, that really summed it up for me. And after that, actually, my legs got better. So I just wanted to show you, you can use use figurine candles to get rid of old blockages and things, what's holding me back, but use the color candle that you want to use. Now, I paired that with a green candle, a green figurine candle, to restore my health, my money, my resources. And so you put the black candle in one, the green candle, I mean, it wasn't really, because it was to restore things, but the black candle blew me away when I saw that, because it tells me my intuition of what happened to me was right. But that, I wanted to show you that to show you how powerful using candle magic can be. So we just went over the various types of candles, so we don't have to do that. Now let's talk about empowering yourselves with energy, because it's important to fuel yourself up. So it's easier to do it if you do it by your sign. So if you're an Earth, and you can try all of these and see which one feels best to you, but if you're an Earth sign, I want you to imagine sending roots from the bottom of your feet into the very center of the earth. Just feel it or see it or imagine it. And then put those roots in the center of the earth and pull energy up through those roots and up through your feet and up through your body, and see how that feels. And then you can use, if it feels good, you can use that energy while you're empowering your tools and your candles to power yourself up. And then you'll send the excess energy back out through your feet and back into the earth. If you are a water sign, you can imagine standing in like a beautiful pool of water, depending on, it could be warm or cool, depending on your preference, and then feel the energy of the water flow up. You should always greet the elements, because you don't want to be rude. Just take from them. Say, hello, earth, or everything. Hey, it's me, Rondi. Need a little help here. And pull, if you're water, pull the energy up again through your feet, up through your body. Like I said, it could be cool or warm. It's up to you, down your hands and fingers. If it feels good, you can use it to empower your candles, and then flow the water back out of the pool when you're done, or hang on to it if it makes you feel good. You don't have to let it go. Fire, you can imagine standing in the center of a fire and ask it to empower you. Feel it like it's traveling, the fire's traveling up your feet, through your body, down your arms, hands, and fingers, that you can use to empower your spell. If that feels good to you, you can use fires, and then you can either put it back, or if you need it to keep going, you can use it. It's not going to hurt you. And then, of course, after you use it, you always want to say thank you. And then if you're air, imagine that there's like a tornado and you step right into the center of the tornado and feel that energy just surrounding you and coming up again through the body. Feel it come into your hands. Use it to empower your candles and your oils or your herbs or whatever it is you're using. And then you can drain it back out and say thank you so much. Or again, if you need that energy, you can hang on to it. So that's a way you can empower yourself with some extra energy. In my full class, I'll teach you how to like do your chakras and stuff, but time is of the essence here. Okay, so now let's talk about empowering your candles with intentions, because we do need to empower them with intention. So you might want to, using your dominant sense, And so let's just say I'm going to use this for money and I'm holding it and I've powered myself up with my element and now I'm ready. If I'm visual and let's just say this is a money candle and I'm visual, I'm going to be watching money just flow all around me. If I'm feeling, I'm going to imagine, dang, what would it be like walking into the New Mexico lottery office and they write me a big fat check for $50 million? Boy, would that feel great. So you're just going to do, if you're, a thought, or think about, if you're a thought person, think about what would it feel like if you were to have what it is you're trying to achieve in your life. If you're a taster, what you want to do is think of your favorite food. Like if I was thinking of money and I had to use taste, fill my mouth with the taste of chocolate because I love chocolate, or something sweet because you want the sweet life. And so, like, fill your mouth with sweetness and then put that intention into your candle. Here's another little tip for you. If you're doing something with money and you want the sweet life, by all means, sprinkle some confectionery sugar over your candle or a drop of honey to bring in that sweetness. A lot of people, and this is an aside from candle work, I'll just give you some extra little tips here, is, a lot of people, when they feel like they've got, a lot of negativity around them or someone's throwing negativity at them, they will take a salt bath. They'll go home or put salt in the bath water to ground that out. I disagree with that because all you're doing is you're adding bitterness to a bitter situation. I say fill your tub and put in some honey and some sugar so that you are sweetening up that energy. You are countering that energy. You have to go to work and you've got negative people around you. Put some honey in your shampoo and your bath gel and wash yourself with it with the intention that you are everyone's going to be sweet to you because you are exuding sweetness out. And that can help to counter energy. That's just a little aside there. Okay, so you want to really bring up the emotion or the feeling of what it would feel like to go into this candle. Again, we don't want desperation or sadness or whatever. We want achievement and wealth and good health and feeling what that would feel like. We want that to go into your candle. Okay, so now carving tools and pens. So the carving tool I personally like to use. Some people will just buy an awl and they just use the same metal awl over and over again. I personally like bamboo skewers. First of all, they're cheap. You can get like 100 of them for 99 cents at Walmart. Um, Store sells them, but more importantly, they're made out of bamboo, and bamboo represents the fulfillment of wishes. So already now we're adding some extra added magic by using these because it represents the fulfillment of your wishes. But even your carving tools in your pen that you're going to use to write out on your intention page, get a special pen. Like, see, this is my crown pen because I happen to be the queen of my own desires. Get something special, like I think I got this at the Dollar Tree, just something, get like a special pen, or you can get pen in the color ink that represents what it is that you want to write out your petition, but you want to change them into wands. I also use paint brushes for when I'm doing the oils, like especially on a jar candle, because you don't want too much oil to pool around the wick. It can interfere. So usually I will take a paintbrush, and again, you get all these different colored paintbrushes, so you can use the color that you want because they come in like every color. And I use it to spread out the oil so it doesn't pool around the wick and cause a problem. Also, when you're using tea light candles, you have to be very careful because you see how the wax comes all the way up to the edge, to the top of the candle. This doesn't leave you much room. Everything you add adds volume to it. So with tea light candles, you have to be like really chintzy on what your putting on it. So I'll put like a little drop of oil on my paintbrush and spread it around so that it's not that much. Because otherwise, if you add more volume and light it, it'll put the flame out because you drown it. And then if I'm using like an herb or something, I'll just put like, I mean, the tiniest hint of glitter and herbs or whatever I'm going to use. But that's another reason why I like tea lights, because I can take my oil and I can spread it on the side, on the bottoms of the candle, and it won't interfere with the wax. You can even oil up the sides, and then if you have herbs, you can roll it in the herbs, and then the herbs will be on the side, and then you don't have to worry about ruining the flame of your tea light candle. But getting back to your tools, you want to turn them into magical tools here. So now this is no longer a cheapo paintbrush that I picked up at Walmart. This is a magical wand that's conveying my intentions, as are these things. So I will group them together in my hands and hold them like this and say, I charge thee to become wands for me and to convey my intention filled energies into my candle of prosperity, good health, love, business, whatever it is. I turn this into my magical tool. I turn it into a wand. And that's how you do that. And then we've also got our oils. Oils and herbs also contain very powerful energies. I strongly suggest you get the book by Scott Cunningham. It's called Magic Herbalism. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Scott Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs or Magical Herbalism. And what it will do, it's a green book. He has two of them. You want the one that's green, and it tells you what each herb represents, what god and goddess it represents, what element it represents. So it's very helpful. And in the back, it has like lists of like herbs to use for good health, herbs to use for love, herbs to use for money, herbs to use for wisdom, herbs to use for beauty, that sort of thing. Now, the oils, everything we do has to be empowered. And so you can use store-bought oils, like this is sandalwood oil. It represents the moon, it represents healing, it represents psychic ability. So I use these for my moon ceremonies to represent the divine feminine or to heal myself, that sort of thing. You can get cinnamon oil. It'll give you a burst of power. It represents fire and Mars. Jasmine is good for love, wealth, psychic dreams. Bayberry is excellent for money, as is bergamot. So it's good to get that book. And here, I wrote it down here. I have it right here. Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. And then you can use, now you want to be careful when you're using essential oils. Some of them can be very caustic to the skin, like cinnamon and cloves, things like that. So you want to be very careful because it can irritate your skin. Now, if you're on a budget, you can use the oils that you may already have in your cabinet. Olive oil represents the sun, fire, healing, peace, and fertility. Avocado oil represents Venus and love and beauty and sexuality. Sunflower oil represents creation, the fulfillment of wishes, good health, and wisdom. You can use the oils that you have right in your cabinet. Sesame oil is sun, fire, money, and sexuality. Even corn oil represents Venus, earth, protection, luck, and divination. So if you don't have the money to go out and buy, these little bottles of oil cost you like $10. In the meantime, you could get a thing of avocado oil like this for $3, and it'll last you for like forever. So you can use things like that. I even have here grapeseed oil for mental powers and money. And you can get 24 ounces of grapeseed oil for like $5. And that's going to last. 24 ounces is a lot of spell work for $5. So If you are, on a budget, you can just use those as well. Or you can use, if you want to spend the money, you can use like Blockbuster oils, Crown of Success. They do have intention oils that you can use, but even still with those, you still have to empower your oils, and you also have to empower your herbs as well. Now you can use like just the stuff that you have again in your kitchen. Cinnamon represents the sun and fire, healing power, protection, and love. Sugar represents love. I use it for offerings to deity because I like sweets, or if I'm doing one of my sweet life candles. Cloves represents Jupiter, expansion, protection, exorcism, love, money, and luck. Sage represents longevity, wisdom, protection, and the fulfillment of wishes. Basil represents Mars, exorcism, get rid of that nasty energy. Wealth, protection. Rosemary, one of my personal favorites, represents the sun. It represents sexuality, mental powers, purification, healing, sleep, and to keep you young. So you can use the herbs or oils that represent what you want. And then you're going to hold them in your hand. Now, if you're using, say, something like sandalwood oil, where that has a bunch of things, but I'm only using it for healing, then what I would do is I would put some on a cotton ball, because I don't want to program my whole bottle because I may use it for other things as well. So I would take what I'm going to use, put it on a cotton ball, hold the cotton ball in my hand, and say, I invoke the healing properties of this sandalwood oil to heal me. Or I invoke the psychic inducing properties of this sandalwood oil to raise my intuition. And then I'll put it on my candle. If it's a jar candle, I'm just going to, of course, put it here on the top of the candle, and I'll swirl it around with my paintbrush. Or if I'm using, and you can put it on the outside of the candle as well if you want. If I'm using like a pillar candle, then I'll just put it directly on the candle. Now, how you're putting it on the candle is going to depend on what are you using the candle for. So for example, let's just say I want to send energy out because I want people to buy my book. So I will put start the oil at the top and bring it out because I want to send out to everyone who might be interested in my book for them to buy it. I want the world to know about it. So I'm sending that out, notification, buy my book. If I'm trying to bring something into my life, if I want to bring into my life money for a new car, then I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to bring it down because I'm bringing it to me. So ask yourself, are you trying to bring something to you, or are you trying to cast something out? Like if you're casting out bad energy, of course, you want to go up and out with the intention it's going into the light for healing. You never want to just burn a candle to remove bad energy without giving that a place to go, because otherwise it can burn the bad energy out of you and then it just fills your house and then you're still in it. So you want to say, to remove the bad energy around me and send it into the light for healing and resolution. Give it a place to go, a destination. Or you can do both, and I can say, I want to send the energy out to attract people to buy my book. So I'm sending out to attract people, to get the people and attract them to buy the book. So it all depends is you're trying to do. But if you're trying to get something out of you or send the word out, then we go bottom to the top and we send it out. If you're trying to draw love or money or whatever it is to you, then we bring it down from the top to the bottom. Now your inscriptions for your intention paper. So one of the things, it's very important for you to be very clear on your intention purpose. One of my pet peeves is to hear people say, I want abundance in my life. I'm going for abundance. I need abundance. The universe is going to say, okay, an abundance of what? An abundance of an abundance of iced tea? What is it that you want an abundance of? You have to be clear on what it is that you want. So don't just say, I want an abundance of money, because abundance to the universe could be, okay, well, here's $20, where, you might have been going for 1,000. Say, I need $1,000 for my car off, or I need $200,000 so I can purchase a home. Now, not everyone is comfortable with asking for money. There's a lot of people that, for some reason, they're very uncomfortable asking for money. They feel like, oh, you shouldn't ask, or blah, 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 which I think is. But what you can do then is, if you don't want to say, I need $1,000, then you can say, please supply me with money sufficient to pay off my car, or money sufficient to buy me new tires, or whatever it is. You don't have to put, if you're that nervous, because if you're nervous about asking for an amount, or you think that amount is impossible, let's just say you've got credit card debt of $70,000, and in your mind, there's no way you're ever going to be able to get that anywhere. You're already screwing up your spell. So say, please give me money sufficient to pay off my credit card debt, and let the universe handle it from there. This can make it easier on your soul, because you don't want to put conflict into your candle. Some people feel greedy asking for money. I used to feel that way. I used to feel greedy, if I asked to win the lottery, but someone's got to win it. So why not me? At least I know I'm going to take the money and I'm going to do good things with it. I'm going to help the homeless and the hungry and all these things, so why shouldn't I have it? So anyway, that's just me talking. So if you are asking for money, again, if you know the specific amount that you need, ask for it. If you're uncomfortable because you feel like it's greedy, then just say, please supply me with an amount sufficient to do whatever it is, and let the universe handle it. Then they'll decide how much. Sometimes you're better off doing that anyway, because you can underguesstimate how much you need. And the universe is, you might be saying, well, I need, let's say, $50,000 to pay off my credit card debt, but by the time they tack on interest and so forth, it might actually be 55,000. So you can leave it to the universe, because they know better than you. But it is important that you want to be clear when you're writing out your intention papers. And again, I do have a prosperity candle class on Gumroad, and the link is in the chat there. Okay, again, we want to be in the proper mindset. We want to, now, a lot of people can't, visualize or even imagine what it might feel like to have something. But what you can do to bring up a certain energy is, let's just say you want to bring money into your life. And so go back in your head to a time when you felt flush. I remember getting my first paycheck, even though it was for $90, but to me, I had, it was like nice. Someone gave me $90 I was like, oh, of course, this was back in the 70s or the 80s. So $90 went a long way back then. But still, it was like I felt flush. You know how, like, when you get your, or like when I used to, so now I'm self-employed now, but when I used to work and I would get my automatic, paycheck deposits. For just that second when I checked and saw like my paycheck, I felt like I was rich. Oh, look, here's that. I felt relief. Oh, there's my money. I feel better. Even though I was going right out to pay bills the next day. Didn't matter. For that second, I felt flush. And that's the feeling you want to bring up. So bringing up, or even feeling relieved to have the money. Go back to a time. Maybe it was when you got your first allowance and you were like 5 years old and your grandmother gave you $1 or $5 for Christmas or something. And you're like, wow, I have all this money. Kind of bring up that, so that while you're writing out your intentions, that emotion of feeling rich goes in there. If you're trying to bring more confidence into your life, think about when you felt confident, or when you felt beautiful. I felt beautiful when I was a ballerina, when I was like 6 years old in dancing school, and it was recital time, and I had my beautiful pink outfit on and my little tiara, and I was out there spinning and stuff. I was 6, but I felt beautiful. I felt like a princess. So if you're doing beauty work, bring up that time when you might have felt gorgeous. And if you can't think of a time, then imagine what would it feel like if you did. Bring up that energy to get you into the proper mindset. And you want to keep that energy as you're writing out your papers, as you're carving into your tea light candles. If you're using a jar candle, you can use a Sharpie in the color that represents what it is that you want, and you can write it out, but you want to do it feeling like you already have what you want. Bring up that energy of what would it feel like, or what did it feel like when you were 6 years old and you were all dolled up in your recital outfit and twirling around on the stage feeling like a princess. That will help you to bring in that energy to really empower up your candle. And then we did the herbs and the oils. I also wanted to throw in here, a lot of times we do energy work for protection. We do candle work. We burn protection candles to protect us, especially if we feel like we're under a threat by someone, maybe a coworker or someone is just sending us bad mojo, or so we do protection candles. But you should do protection candles for everything. You should do protection candles to protect your health, especially with this recession in the economy. You should be doing protection candles to protect your money, protect your bank account, to protect the flow of income coming into your house, protect your job, protect your Social Security check, because even that's being threatened now. They can't figure out how to balance the budget or whatever it is. Do protection candles. Do a protection candle to protect your car from accidents, especially with this Mercury retrograde. I do have in my full class on Gumroad how to do a retrograde candle to protect you. So you can check that out as well. But I do want you to do protection candles, or consider doing protection candles. Protect your grandchildren from active shooters coming to their schools. We've got a lot of things now going on in this world has gone insane. And so, doing things just to protect your kids in school, doing something like that, or even to protect you from a disgruntled coworker who decides to come back and do nasty things. Do protection candle work on a daily basis, and that will help you. Now, we talked about clearing the space. So you're going to clear your space, clear yourself, empower your candle, inscribe on the candle, empower the oil, apply the oil, empower the herbs, apply the herbs, write your intentions, feeling the outcome, state your petition out loud. You can either tape your paper to the candle or put it underneath your candle holder, light your candle. And then what you want to do is you want to, thinking of your intention, after you light the candle, first think of your intention and gaze at the wax. Now I'm putting my intention into the wax. Then I gaze at the wick and state my intention. So I put my intention into the wick, because the wick goes all the way down. And then I gaze at the flame and I put my intention into the flame. So you're now really empowering the candle with everything that you want. So you've got a real powerhouse here. And the other thing I want to tell you also is, if you're doing more than one candle, you do want, for different things, you do want to create kind of a sacred space around the candle. So what you can do is, let's just say, because I forgot to put a saucer on my table. Let's just say this is a saucer that I'm going to put my candle on. Before I put my candle on it, I'm going to put my hands around the saucer. and I'm going to say, this be sacred space. No other energies may enter in except those which are intended. And then I can put my candle on top of it and it'll be protected from any outside energies. That's important, especially even if you're only doing one candle, but you live with other people. You don't want to put all this work and effort into this candle and then have your husband or your kid come home in a bad mood and look at your candle and then they put that nasty energy into all of that work you just did. So set up sacred space around your candle. You can use a plate or you can surround the candle, make a circle of salt. Let's just say that I put a circle of salt in my hand. Then I would take either my fingers or if you're using a magic wand or an atome, right in the center. So I would have made a salt circle and right in the center, this be sacred space. No other energies may enter in except those which are intended. This way it sets up a force field around your candle to keep the other energies out of it. Okay, and when should you do it? Okay, so if you want to do water, if you're a water sign and you want to use water, the water element energy, Monday represents water. Sunday and Tuesday, if you're a fire person, represents fire. Wednesday and Thursday represents air. And Friday and Saturday represents earth. If you want to use the day of your sign, if you're in Aries, you can use Tuesday, Aries or Scorpio, because you're both ruled by Mars. I haven't figured out the day that represents Pluto, because Scorpio is Pluto and Mars, but you can do that. Tauruses, you can use Friday, because you're represented by Venus. Tuesday is Mars, by the way. Friday is Venus. If you're a Taurus or Libra, you can use Fridays to represent Venus. Gemini's Mercury, so you can use Wednesday. If you're a Cancer, you can use Mondays because it represents the moon. Virgo is also Wednesday because it's ruled by Mercury. Sagittarians are ruled by Jupiter, so that would be on Thursdays. Capricorns are ruled by Saturn. Saturday is your power day. And don't be freaked out by Saturn, because a lot of people are like, oh my God, Saturday represents Saturn and its restrictions and blah, blah, blah. Saturn gets a bad rap. Think about how many people win the lottery on Saturdays with the Powerball and Lotto America. Those are people that are walking away with hundreds of millions of dollars. Saturn also represents luck. And as far as restrictions, I ask Saturn to restrict bad people around me, to restrict bad energies, to restrict me from eating too much chocolate or eating too much when I go out. You can do positive. What do you need to be restricted in your life? Because Saturn will restrict those things for you. But also Saturn represents luck, because you have to think about how many people become millionaires on Saturday with the lotto drawings and things like that. And so that will help you also to do that. Aquarians, I could not, and maybe Dana can tell us the day that represents Aquarius. I tried everything to find out what day represents Uranus. I know everyone else calls him Uranus. He actually prefers me to call him Uranus, but Uranus is actually how it's pronounced. So I just said to use Wednesday because it's air, because I couldn't come up with a day. But if you can come up with one, if anybody knows, please let me know. And Pisces is ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. And so I was using Thursday and Friday. Since Neptune is a higher elevation of Venus, I attributed that to Friday and Thursday for the Jupiter. And for those of you who are like, well, if I do a 7-day candle, can I just put it out and start again? Yes, you can. If you have to put your candle out, just say the etheric flame still remains. This way, the spiritual flame is still burning, but the physical flame is out, but your intentions are still going out there. So that is, I think I did pretty good. I got it down to an hour and 18 minutes. That is our candle magic class for today. Let me see if there's any questions. Gathered materials from my Beltane box today. Awesome. It says here, okay, Kate, you have, what was the beginning of what you said there? So tell me what that was, and then maybe I can tell you what it is. My arms feel so long. I'm sorry if we lengthen your arms. I don't want your
It
knuckles.
was awesome. I loved it. I'm short. I liked having long arms.
Okay, good. That's good news. And so, oh, and thank you for putting the link to Scott Cunningham's book. That's awesome. It was when you were doing your balance. So when I was doing this balance, when I was just balancing out our energies, is that what that was from Miranda? Thank you very much for putting those links in for me, beautiful goddess, because I was going to do that. And so, all right, so just so for you who said it was when I was doing the balance, if it's, I send all adverse and harmful energies into the light to be healed and resolved as we are all healed from them, and now bring down the divine white light from the sacred source of all well-being and fill the space in myself with purity, peace, and power for our works. Or if it was for to balance yourself out, you're going to put your fingers to the side of your temples, pull yourself together, keep your fingers touching the body, come down the front of the body, and repeat divine balance, balance, balance over and over again till you get to the end of your groin. Hopefully that answers your questions. And I want to thank Eddie for having me. I enjoyed teaching the class. You've got all my links in there. You've got the link to Scott Cunningham's book. You've got my Gumroad links. I also have empath salts for us empaths, and on my Mercari and my YouTube channel, everything is there. So that is what we have for you today. And thank you again for this fabulous class. And I'm so glad that it was enlightening, and I'm glad that there's a recording for you to come back to so that you can look at it over and over and really get the hang of everything.
Yes, I am so glad we recorded this as well. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go and do some repeats just for it to all soak in. Rhonda, thank you so much. I feel like you talked twice as fast as you normally probably do. So thank you for cramming it all in and getting everything. I am so excited. I personally am gonna go put some magic into some candles right now.
Yay!
I cannot wait. Oh, thank you for this enlightening topic, and also a light, right? Like I feel
yes, light.
so, right? Like the light of a candle. So I hope you
Love
all
it.
do too. Take that light with you tonight, and we will see you all in the society. If you have questions or anything, throw them over there and we'll get them answered for you.
Absolutely. Thank you,
All right,
everyone.
thanks, Rhonda. Have a terrific night. Thank you all.
Thank you. Happy Beltane. Be blessed.
Happy Beltane.